There are plenty of options out there when it comes to garden edging. I want to give you some ideas in this video around making the right choice. So it's good to be mindful of how long it's going to last and how it's going to look, how it's going to help with your maintenance. All these things are worth considering. This here is our steel edging. It's actually weathering steel, and that's a little bit special, a little bit unique. What it does is it develops a really fine patina on the surface, which you could describe as a rust. And that coloration is actually like a protective coat. So that develops over time and then continually regenerates itself, and it stops that deeper rusting that you would get with mild steel. So that's why weathering steel is great to use in the outdoors and as a garden edge. Our edging is it's nice and strong to handle for one thing, but it's precision engineered. So what you see here, this lovely rounded top, I can slide my hand along that and it's a really smooth finish. It looks attractive, it looks sleek, and it serves a purpose. It gives a bit more strength to the edge itself. Also, we have these connector plates, and when I say precision engineered, these are all fitted in the factory, ready to go with guide holes that line up with the next length. So when we're joining from one length to the next, it's always going to match up. You're going to get a really seamless, virtually seamless join when you bring the edges together. So that's the benefit of our approach. Now, what I'm handling here is the flex. This one has a lot of give in it. It will evenly flex for you. A first-time user can get this lovely smooth even curve, and I point that out because a lot of edging will actually not have that accommodation. You may actually have, or you will have to actually bend it to get the shape you need, which takes a fair bit of skill. So that's where we help. And the other thing about our edging is because it connects so easily and stands up by itself when it is connected, you can set up your whole run and look down the line and get the curves just right before you fix it in place. So some edging comes with pegs already on the bottom, so you just have to do them part by part. But my experience with landscaping is you want to have a look at the whole thing before you commit. So we do our pegging at the end, and because it's got no obstacles, nothing in the way, you can easily stand it up and have a look and see if you're happy. This is our rigid edge. So spot the difference? I'm sure you can. There's no notches in this one. So it's used for straights. Now when you're faced with a straight, it's got a little bit of give in at this edge. So you actually can do a really gentle curve. And that means also, because it's a vertical edge, you can move a little bit down a long run. So if you need it to be perfectly straight, it's actually not the ideal choice, but it's very good for a standard straight situation. And that could be, for example, at the back of a garden where you're looking at the front of it and you've got a really nice straight, so it works a treat. Be aware that you can also use this with the flex because the connector plate is compatible. So if you've got the garden behind me has a nice gentle curve, and then just over that way, you can't see it right now, there's a tight curve. So I could use mostly rigid, introduce the flex to accommodate that tighter curve, and that's going to give me a great result. Now, some people I know are perfectionists, or they'll have a design with lots of straight lines, a really geometric looking garden. So in that case, we have this ZeroFlex. Now the ZeroFlex is quite clear what's special. It has a foot in both directions, and basically spike it down into the ground. So how easy is that to install? The connector plate here, the next length just drops on top. So this is super easy to work with, and it's really solid in terms of a straight line, something that's going to stay true, and we describe it as unmovable. Because over time, what typically happens with most edging is there can be some movement in the edge. With the ZeroFlex, we've battled against that with this design. And the key to its strength is going to be the foundation. So here's a tip. You want to have a really smooth, firm, level base to drop this onto. And if you do that and install it that way, you're going to have a really dependable edge. So there we go. It's almost like 3 different edges and 3 different personality types. And you need to choose what's going to suit your design the best. You can tell a lot about somebody from their garden, and that's also true of the edging they would choose. This line, by the way, you can actually walk on it. That's how strong and stable it is when it's installed. You wouldn't want to try that with some of these other edges. If you keep watching the video, I'll show you that just at the end, just about how much fun it can be to walk on your garden edging. We also have corners, by the way. So the corners come as a straight, and then you shape them in like I have here into the corner you need. You can go tighter, you can go wider. Buying these is really helpful, but you also have the option of making your own. So if you're handy with an angle grinder and you want to just make the corners wherever they're needed, then go for it. Just maybe buy one, so you've got the template, and then cut the larger edge where you need it to make the corner, and you can just incorporate them and have very little waste in the process. So there you go. I hope that's been helpful. Now watch the outtake.